What is up, guys? So, I am feeling much better than I have been in the last couple of days when it comes to my uncooperative respiratory system. So, the way I am going to go about this is at the first sign of trouble, I'm gonna bail and try this again at another time. But since I have been away from here, it is pretty safe to say that I have been away from the internet pretty much altogether. So I thought I would do a stream in which I just go around visiting websites to see what's been happening and I guess sort of react or give my opinion to whatever it is that I find out about. And yeah, let's just get started. One of the sites that I'm going to visit is Yahoo because Yahoo tends to do well about showing trends, I guess. But it's not really my go to source for news. Usually Twitter is. But I'm just curious. I haven't been on this page for a while, so why not visit it? Um, so let's see what ridiculous crap we see here. There's a KFC explosion in North Carolina caught on video. Have you guys heard about that? I saw it trending on Twitter earlier, and basically, what happened was apparently some workers had been smelling gas and feeling nauseous, and then next thing you know, the store blew up like later at night. And fortunately, there was nobody there, there was no one who got hurt, which is pretty surprising considering the extent of this damage, Like that entire place was vaporized. So, needless to say, that made me think about random stuff. Like, imagine being someone driving on the road where this store was located. It's like you're just minding your business, and all of a sudden, this building just vaporizes and all the debris just flies over to the highway. So it's kind of crazy. It's kind of frightening for me. Anytime I drive down the highway, my biggest fear is trucks and how their tires for some reason just blow up. I'm like, where do all those tire like remains come from that I always see at the edge of the road? And of course, that has to happen somehow. And the way that I would imagine it happens is that they blow up. So I have never seen that, but I'm like, I bet you that the moment it happens, it has to be some pretty intense and scary stuff. Hello, Philip. Good to see you. But yeah, that's pretty much what I know about that story, so I'm not really going to expand on it. I just know that it was shocking. Another shocking thing that I remember hearing about was that one plane that had like a piece of engine maybe just break and just remain spinning inside the engine of some or something. I think that flight was headed toward Maryland or something, and someone caught it on tape, and it was trending yesterday, and this happened 2 days ago, and then the flight got diverted to, I think it was Raleigh Durham in North Carolina. So yeah, it's like a lot of crazy things are happening at the same time. But when I think about it, I'm thinking, I think stuff like this has been happening in the world at the same rate. It's just that some stuff gets covered more given that we have social media, you know, happening. So, yeah, that was another shocking news that I knew about. Let's see. On entertainment, Jeffree Star called Kylie Jenner's skincare line a complete joke and money grab. Honestly, I don't care about stories like that. I just see the headline and I'm like, all right, this is a diva hating on another diva. But what do I know? I do not care about makeup, so I couldn't tell you what's good and what isn't. When it comes to skincare, I really don't have a particular routine or anything that I follow religiously, so I don't know what to tell you. But when I hear someone talking about someone else's business or someone else's stuff, I cannot help but think that's someone who's kind of maybe a degree of jealousy going on, or a degree of I admire you, but at the same time I want to criticize you for something. But I'm not them, so I don't know what they're thinking about. I just know that if I had my own successful multi-million dollar business, what do I care about competition? I just want to put out product that people enjoy and they feel like they want to come back to. I don't want to be involved in drama of competition. See what I mean? But then again, I'm a weirdo. I just don't find that the stuff that's popular as attractive, you know? Let's see what the comments are saying. Yeah, those are cheap retreats. What website do you go to watch your news? Honestly, I don't watch news. Sometimes when I visit YouTube, there may be some recommended stories from me by certain channels. I'm not subscribed to anybody pretty much. I'm only subscribed to like three friends who do not upload anything, and then one friend who has two channels. And I think overall I'm subscribed to like seven people. And one of them is a person called Bionic Pig. And I follow him because he makes good music. And he also craps on singers really hilariously for me. So I didn't want to forget what his name was. But other than that, I don't subscribe to anything because I hate clutter so much. So I find it that if I limit my subscriptions, I may not end up wasting so much time online. But I used to watch Philip DeFranco at some point because I used to enjoy listening to his opinion. I don't follow him religiously, but sometimes I find out about issues that are happening because of the title that he gives to his videos. So sometimes what I end up doing is whatever story he's covering, I Google it and then I look up an article. I tend to be more of a reader of news than a watcher of news, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, I tend to also notice what's trending. So Twitter is my go-to place to find out what's trending. But when it comes to actually watching stuff, I really don't have anything that I watch. Um, like I don't watch CNN, I don't watch Fox News, I don't watch uh what are those people called, the Young Turks. They're supposed to be like very left leaning or something. They have good topics. I just do not necessarily enjoy how they manifest when it comes to them. Like, I don't always agree with their opinions, put it that way. I do enjoy their discussions, but it's been ages since I listened to anything that they put out. Especially that Anna Kasparian lady. I don't like her. I think she has like a voice that is screechy, and I was completely turned off by her one time that she, I forget what the matter was, but she said something like, "Oh yeah, I'm better than you, much better than you." And to me, that's immature. If this is supposed to be a reporter who I'm supposed to be taking seriously, a news host who I'm supposed to be taking seriously, I know that the Young Turks are like they have their own business, they're independent, they don't rely on like the corporate media that we are used to. But when it comes to someone presenting news to me, I like for there to be a certain degree of professionalism that to me is just inherent to keeping me intrigued. But it doesn't mean that if I see someone who's dressed informally, I cannot take them seriously. Not at all. I never dress up for any reason, and I still feel like I deserve to be respected because I give respect to others, etc. But when I see people with attitudes like that and people who are really full of themselves, um, I don't like that. And I know that I can have my moments here in the channel when I can be a complete diva and be full of myself. But at least I like to admit that I'm still a person who makes mistakes and that my opinions are not the best ones out there. But some of these folks on that channel, I feel like if you disagree with their opinion, you're inherently a bad person. Like they're supposed to be the righteous crowd. And I'm like, no, there is some stuff that I disagree on because they're not my interests. But you're trying to say that I am a monster if I do not see stuff in the manner that you do. I cannot trust someone who makes me feel that way or who projects themselves in that manner. Does that make sense? So that's why I am very careful about who I listen to. And the good thing is that I have already defined myself. I know my values. I know who I am. I know what I like, what I don't like. So I can listen to views that oppose mine without having to have a bias or feel like these people are going to change who I am, especially if I have made up my mind about that already. But I like to listen to Ben Shapiro sometimes because he gives insights that are not very popular. And by that, I mean that conservative views tend to be difficult to come by for some reason. So I feel like he has a pretty solid platform going on for him to where I can listen to his opinion and it's more than likely going to go against what people deem popular. But the more I dig into the stuff he's saying, I'm thinking, you know what? Judging by his comment section, a lot of people think that way, and I can agree with a lot of the stuff that he says in the same manner that I disagree with a lot of stuff he says. With the Young Turks, there's some stuff that they say that I agree with, some stuff that I disagree with. So that's why I am saying that I don't know why people think that you have to be bipartisan when clearly there's going to be a point in which you're going to disagree with what the so-called party that you tend to lean with does. You should be having a party where you can have that mix going on. So, anyways, I feel like limiting myself to a party is just insane given the broadness of life. So, that's why politics for me are something that I don't mess with unless it's something that one of my interests is at stake. Hopefully that answered your question. But overall, I don't really follow anybody daily. It's like if I hear about it, great. If it's trending and I see it at the right time, great. If someone makes a video about it and it comes up on my recommended, great. But I'm not like, oh, I need to go check in on Philip to see what he's talking about, or I need to go see Ben or the Young Turks to see what they're talking about. Nothing like that. It's if I see it and it interests me, I'll listen to it or give it a read if it's an article, but I don't go out of my way looking for news. Put it that way. Let's see. Hi Zamri, are you feeling better? Yes, I am. I am feeling a whole lot better. Like compared to yesterday and the day before, I have not been having like episodes in which I am a one woman orchestra of sneezes. Like I can actually feel confident about breathing again. Still have that itchy feeling. And I guess it's just something in the air because a lot of people are feeling like me. I was fine for a few weeks until all of a sudden everything just hit me. And I was just feeling miserable, drained, had no energy, had headaches. But yeah, I'm feeling a whole lot better now. That's why I'm hanging out here. And I felt like I might skip tonight, but I said there's no reason for me to skip tonight. So yeah, thanks for asking. Oh, don't do that thing. It's doing that thing where I'm trying to read comments, but it won't identify my touch. Catching up on you too. Hope you are well. Happy. Yeah. Like I said, I'm feeling a whole lot better. And when it comes to happiness, sometimes I feel like I'm someone who just cannot feel happiness for long term. But it's just that I'm just tired and not feeling well. A combination of ingredients that just makes it difficult for me to diagnose myself. And of course, I'm also in pain, like all the time. But sometimes are just better than others. But yeah, overall, I'm much better. So yeah, I'm just trying to get my mind together because not only have I been sick and physically in pain and just not doing so well in the health department, but I've also been like stress. It's like a weird stress. Like I've been working too much and I also want to rest, but at the same time I feel like my days off don't feel like days off because I still have stuff to do, stuff to take care of. So I have decided that coming up I'll have an extra days. I requested extra days off, so maybe that'll help me. But yeah, it's kind of difficult for me to discuss how the hell I feel. I just feel like I have no feelings. Like I only feel like I'm living right now because I'm doing something that used to be a part of my routine that I enjoy, that reminds me just how human I am, but it's become so rare and I have been forced to be detached from the stuff that I like to do and my hobbies and people who I like to interact with because my schedule has been demanding and I've been having those terrible hours where my shift starts early in the day and then it ends in the evening, and then by that time I pretty much have time to eat, go to the gym, then come back and shower and get ready for the next day. So it doesn't feel like I have a life, but hopefully stuff will be getting back to normal. I know I've been saying that for a while, but it will get back to normal because I'm taking action to make that happen. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I have faith that everything will work out a whole lot better now. Yes, makes sense. These days it's more bipartisan. Yeah, tell me about it. It's like all about money. Like, chill out. I know money is important, but it is crazy. Everyone is just trying to get a dollar out of you. It's crazy. And politics are no different. I'm just sick of politics from the point of view of I am listening to a bunch of rich people just talk all day. That's what their jobs are. Talking and talking and talking. And what I hate about them talking is that they're talking about things that they're not going to fucking do. See what I mean? So, like, there's the person who says that they're going to repair the education system. And, I'm still witnessing shitty education. Like, in my personal hometown, like my school district, it was pretty bad. And I used to think that it was pretty good because I just didn't know any better. I didn't see anything better. So, had I tried another state, maybe I would have been challenged. But yeah, politics just, they're important, but at the same time, when you're in a position when you cannot do anything, it gets frustrating because I sometimes I don't even know what I want anymore because there's always the opposing side talking about why my idea is bad, and I'm like, no, I have this opinion because I'm a citizen of this nation and part of the community. So therefore, I'm entitled to what my necessities are. But other people are also members of the society, so they're entitled to whatever it is that suits their interest. So that constant battle of like who's right, who's wrong, is there someone who's right or wrong? How can you create a balance? Is it possible to create a balance? It becomes frustrating, and I just really do not wish to spend the rest of my days trying to come to peace with something like that. So what I like to do is I like to just adapt to the ever changing climate just like everyone else does, and I don't want to sound apathetic, but again, that's really not how I want to spend the rest of my days. Especially when I get off work after long days and my brain is like fried to the point that I read a sentence and it doesn't make sense to me. There's stuff that I have to reevaluate. And let's see. Politics are funny to watch, people arguing. Yeah, there's no denying that people arguing can be entertaining, especially when you know, people who have their debates and there's no teleprompter and stuff, you know what someone's capacity is whenever they don't have a script in front of their face. And there's some people who frustrate me so much because if you're supposed to be my leader of my country and I'm supposed to be taking you seriously, why can you not form a sentence without the aid of a teleprompter or a script in front of your face? But if I were to think about it critically, this person's level of stress probably does not compare to mine. So I guess I can remain more mentally sharp to where I can form sentences without saying, like, you know, all that unnecessary stuttering and stuff. I'm not saying I'm perfect because I have had my days in which I say like a lot. And my earlier videos, I used to be like one shy, insecure little cookie and I could not get my mind together. But I said, let me challenge myself to record myself, listen to how I sound, what I say, and that way I can examine my areas to improve in. And then I realized that I don't have that issue of saying like like so like that AOC lady, I don't know if you guys know her. Her name is like Alexandria. I feel like that's all she ever says. But then when she has a paper to read from, she's prepared. She doesn't stumble on her words. So I'm thinking, why, if you're supposed to be an expert in your field, why do you struggle so much to present your thoughts and ideas like coherently? Like without the like assistance of like terms to like buy yourself some like time for you to like say like a whole lot of nothing despite you like, yeah, it just frustrates me. The likers of the world, this is not Facebook. Stop liking everything that you say, you know. So anyways, hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about there. It's just the government approved air quality working on you. Oh my god, yes. Like I have been seeing that like my weather app has been like saying that like the air quality is moderate, which means that people with like asthma problems like me have like health issues, and everyone at work who is in that spectrum feels like me. I was like, hey, when did your health problems start? And they said, oh, about a month ago. I'm like, funny that you say that because I have been monitoring the weather and these advisories that we have been getting. And it kept saying that people with sensitivities may experience certain effects. And then when I brought that up, everyone has been keeping track of it. Everyone who I've talked to about this. So, yeah, definitely. It is the environment. Like, it feels different to breathe, if that makes sense. I'm not used to feeling the air full of just contamination. And it also doesn't help that there's a lot of construction going on around here. So I want to blame that exclusively, but I know that it takes more than just that to upset the atmosphere. But anyways, I am no longer a weather expert since I don't keep up with that stuff anymore like I used to when I was an adolescent. Adolescent. Exactly, especially during live debates, you so nailed it. It's called the human race because those who can run the fastest will win either the race or can run away from those who won. The rest of us is in the middle of bear the fallout. You know what? I like that. I never thought about it. The human race, as in the competing kind of race. That never occurred to me before. AOC's expertise was as a bartender. That too, look, I'm not going to crap on someone's capacity just because of their past career, because I'm pretty sure that there are many brilliant expert minds out there whom we have yet to discover, in the same manner that in other countries. What was the name of that one show that J Lo had going on, in which she went to like, or well, her crew went around the world recruiting people from other countries just to show the talent of other nations or something. I forget what it's called, but it was a dancing show. And I said, you know what? When I watched that show, that's when I had the thought of just how much knowledge, how much wisdom, expertise, inventions are we missing out on just because the right people are not being promoted? The right people, or the people with those skills, let me not call them right people, but those folks with those resources do not get an opportunity to be known on a global scale. So just because you're not popular or well known out there doesn't mean you don't have anything to offer. It's just you have not been found by the people with the proper resources to like showcase you. So that's why I try to not measure my personal success based off others. It is so important for you to define yourself, who you are, what you want, what you value, because otherwise that stuff is going to drive you crazy. And that's why some people out there feel like they cannot live a fulfilling life unless they amass a certain amount of wealth or obtain a social status. What is a social status? What does that mean to you? For me, my optimal social status is not being known as an asshole. That is so important for me to know that people feel like they can come talk to me and that they know that they can trust me and I'm respectful, and that's what I value. But I know that that doesn't pay the bills, but at the end of the day, at least I can go to bed peaceful, knowing that I didn't go around being a bitch to someone. See what I mean? So, how can you live with yourself being a successful business person and your home is a wreck, your children are like abandoned, you're never there for them, you're always busy at work, you don't know what's important to them, you don't get to know people personally anymore. I don't want to be that person. I actually want to know stuff about you. I want to know your birthday. I want to know how you feel at a particular time, what your goals are, short term, long term, what your frustrations are. I love it when people vent to me because A, I'm not going to repeat anything that you say to me unless it's something that I'm like, oh, can I discuss it with my mother because her input is so important to me? But it is very rare that I do that. And I just like to make people feel at ease because I know that the world is difficult and demanding. And I don't like to know that people around me are stressed out. Stuff like that. Very simplistic, I know, like definitely detached from reality, but that's just me. I don't aspire for that type of thing. But anyways, I know at some point I'm going to have to ambition some stuff to like improve the quality of my life. But until that urgency emerges in me, I'm not rushing anything. Not rushing anything. Sure, but how many move from bartender to congresswoman without crossing boardwalk and Park Place first and then passing go before collecting your congressional parking pass? You know, that's a good point. Not everyone just suddenly shoots up into famous success like that. But wasn't her father an owner of a business of some sort? So, if you're trying to tell me that I should relate to this person because she's so down to earth and from my social status or something, she used to be a bartender, so therefore, whom better than her to represent me? First of all, she won on her district because she had how many votes? Wasn't it something like 4,000? I don't find that as very impressive, although as someone who has never had any kind of success like that at any level, I don't feel like I'm better than her. I don't feel like I'm worse than her. But if I see that on a politician's resume, I'm not impressed. Put it that way. To me, if you have a lot of votes in a very challenging district, then I would be like, oh, okay, you may be on to something. But apparently, from the way the news have been presented, again, maybe I am going to be a victim of bias from my source of the news of her personal info. Um, I'm pretty sure that there are other places where competition is fierce. And it seems to me like where she was at is not that competitive. See what I mean? But, anyways, I'm not an expert on the matter. I'm just going off by what I vaguely recall about what I have heard about her and stuff that I have skimmed through, articles about her. But she's definitely not my role model, and she does not really speak for me. And her another thing that I was turned off by from her is when she was talking about what the heck was it? It seems to me like she wants to be this righteous person that just gives everyone free passes to say the immigration stuff. It's like she'll let anybody just come into the country. I'm like, no, there need to be limitations. There need to be laws. Because at some point, it's going to start affecting the citizens. And it's not fair that we have to abide by the rules and everything. And then other folks can just come in and be taken care of. Whereas I don't even get to go to the doctor. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. And she tries to make it seem like if I disagree with just opening our frontier for people to come over, that I'm the terrible person. No. So again, things like that, I can see where she's coming from, but at the same time, I cannot agree with it entirely because there needs to be limitations. Other countries have their boundaries. Other countries have their limitations and rules and laws in place that other people obey. So why is it wrong when the United States does it? Just because of the way something sounds, like, oh, this is the land of the free. Well, what does it mean that this is the land of the free? It doesn't mean that you can just come here and not abide to the rules. See what I mean? Because that makes you a criminal. And if you're a criminal, you have to suffer the consequences. Your home, when you were growing up, your parents had rules that you had to obey because otherwise there would be consequences. So from house level, you go to social level, you go to like government level, there's the hierarchy. So I don't find it insane that we have rules in place. They are meant to protect our resources. And while I do acknowledge that the United States wastes a lot of energy, resources, and just there's a lot of waste going on around here that I don't agree with, especially food. It doesn't mean that we need to feel compelled to resolve everybody else's problems, especially when we have domestic problems that we need to take care of. See what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Why is it that the United States has to be the one that does things differently and other countries do not seem to get criticized for implementing those things? You know, all because of how we have been presented. I don't know. That's the kind of stuff that I just wish that I knew whom to talk to about that, because it sometimes I feel like I'm the only one who thinks this way, and I know that I'm not. It's just that some stuff I don't know how to express, and yeah, it's just that I don't know how to express it nor whom to express it to. So maybe I will meet someone someday who's going to be like, let me sit your ass down and tell you a thing or two. So maybe that's why I wish my grandparents were still alive. But anyways, that's why I have you guys to just ramble too. um, oops. A bit of competition is good for the ego. Oh man. Anyone who truly believes in open borders needs to publicly print their address and phone number so the people entering can move in with them. If they don't, they are hypocrites. You know what? That's a pretty fair analysis right there. I never thought about that. And yet, we're so concerned about our personal details. Like, we don't allow Facebook to access certain apps or something, whatever it is that is going on with them. Or we don't like to give our phone numbers to certain organizations and we like to question them. So why would we not question other people's intentions with coming here? You know, like I understand that most people are looking for jobs, just like at some point our ancestors were like, why are we moving to a new country? See what I mean? Better opportunities. But again, it's just crazy to me that you're expecting to just open borders like that. I cannot conceive it. Then again, I'm not very politically savvy. I don't know the logistics of what it would take to make that a possibility. Like, sure, let's let just anybody come in, you know. Um, but but I just know that I was taught to obey the rules because rules are there to ensure order, and I don't see anything wrong with that. Now, if there is unfairness going on, yes, I will defend myself, but all you can do is express it, bring it up to the attention of the corresponding authority, and then try to mediate it. But yeah, to just ignore the rules that have been implemented and have ensured that society can progress, well, the definition of progress can vary, right? But I don't know. I don't know. It's very complicated for me. But I just know that I do not disagree with like border stuff. I'm not saying that I am hyped about building a so called wall, but I know that boundaries are important. Put it that way. That's what I meant to say. We are not the dumping ground for the world. Now are we the world's police? Most of the politicians who want open borders live in gated communities with security guards. Exactly. Gates keep animals and other intruders away. People would say, oh, well, you shouldn't look at people who are trying to come to the country looking for jobs and a better life as intruders. And I'm like, it is kind of intrusive when you are forcing yourself to a place and you're living in a clandestine manner. Why would you need to hide if you feel like you're doing things right? See what I mean? So I understand most of these folks seeking a better life do not have the resources to, I guess, to go through the legal process, and maybe some of it takes 30 years or something. Like some papers supposedly take 27 years to process or something. Well, I mean, what can I say? I'm sorry, I did not choose to be born in America, for example. I'm pretty sure that there is another country out there that I might be happier in or more miserable in. The opposite is true. But as a citizen of this nation, I just try to make life work for me as best as I can. I'm not saying that every nation makes this easy for you to be able to choose to live your life in whatever manner you want to. But just remember that rules are rules. If I were the one visiting your house, I'm pretty sure that you would have rules for me, such as do not take my jewelry, do not wear this, do not drink that, do not take my car without my permission, do not steal my keys, stuff like that. So when you are invading a new land, that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like you're just taking advantage of the situation, whereas everyone else is law abiding. We deprive ourselves of certain things because we want to fulfill our responsibilities, but somehow you're coming here and you're trying to claim that we have to allow you to live a life that frees you from the responsibility of regular citizens. That I disagree with. So I know there's more to it than that, but again, while I understand the human element of it, the moral element of it, realistically, that is not a sustainable practice. Like, imagine if everyone ever who inhabits the planet tried to go to just one continent, to be residing in just, say, North America, or the middle portion of North America. That's insane. See what I mean? So again, in a very happy utopian world, I would be like, sure, let everyone go to wherever it is that they want to and live happily ever after. But that's just not possible in this timeline, at least. But anyways, again, I cannot claim expertise on the matter. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but overly simplistic thinking about it, that's how I feel about the matter every time it comes up. Let's see. When I got off the plane in Mexico City, if I couldn't produce a passport, they wouldn't have let me in. So are we to just open the gate and say, y'all come on in? Exactly. Again, every other country has their rules and they enforce them, and we have to abide by them. Otherwise, we suffer the consequences. Why is it wrong for us to have rules and expect for others to respect them and follow them? And on that note, let's see, what was I gonna say? Wait, what was I gonna say? When I got off the plane, if I don't produce passport, yeah, like you would get arrested and stuff if you don't have your papers up to date. So again, why is it bad when the United States does it? So I think that rules work and there is a good reason for them. And on top of that, when we go to other places, we're not always necessarily guaranteed accommodations. So why would we guarantee accommodations to other people? So I don't know. I just cannot think like that too much. And then there were people who were getting upset over having multiple languages available for, is it voting? The census. I think it was the census document. I'm like, what is wrong with that? If you can afford and have the manpower to produce a document that accommodates the ever increasing diversity in the country, what is the problem? There were some people arguing with it, just like I was mentioning the other day. I think I made a stream about this, and I ended up saying, well, there is a job opportunity. We take pride talking about how many jobs are being created. If you have language skills, why would you not use them? Especially if the expense of it is minimal. And on top of that, when it comes to the question of citizenship in the census and how that's supposed to be controversial, again, that is something that determines or affects politics. It determines how many congressional seats of some sort a certain district gets. So, what is wrong with you being represented if you are a citizen? Like, if you're a citizen, that means that you are actually a resident of this nation, you abide by the rules, you are paying your taxes, hopefully. So, is that question really that bad? Is it really that terrible? when this will determine how many resources go where, I don't think there's anything wrong with that question. There's nothing like hateful about someone's identity. I don't want to say the R word because YouTube doesn't like that. But not that I care. But I just hate that the R word is being thrown around so casually for situations when there's no R word situation going on. Like, that's just you lacking a, what is it? An argument to supply for that situation, and you're just getting upset and using that word so casually, accusing people of a behavior that they're not exhibiting because you don't have anything better to say. You don't have an actual way of proving your claim. So that's what I don't like about politics. Whenever you start accusing people of something that they're not, just because you're losing the argument and you're thinking, sure, let me resort to this because I'm going to get media attention, I'm going to get people to probably agree with me and support me, and bam. That's how a certain party ends up being perceived as the better one. And again, I'm not a fan of neither party. Like, I can value stuff from the right, stuff from the left, but I don't like that when information is being manipulated to try to get you to behave in a certain way. That is what I don't like. So do not use the R word unless there is a definitive way that you can prove that it is an R word situation. Because I'm so sick of seeing that. Like, you're actually the one who is perpetuating such a thing. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Uh, Kill the welfare state. The only reason we need to build the wall is because other countries do not respect our border or sovereignty or the laws of the land. Antarctica. No laws, no borders, no need for air conditioning, all the fish you can eat, no problem. I know, right? Interesting. What up? I'm here for politics. Great. This turned out to be a politics topic, even though I'm not going to say that I hate it. It's just that I wish that I were better prepared for the discussion. I just have to go by whatever initial impression I get out of an issue. I wish I could call people by names, like, oh, Senator this and that says da da da, and they belong to this and that party. Like, how can people remember dates, people's parties, what policies or bills they have proposed? I guess when you have a job in which you're constantly reading up on that stuff, you do retain it. But I'm always impressed and admiring the people who have that good memory for that. Like, you remember people's names and last names, what state they're from. To me, that's superpowers. I can never remember people's names. It's starting to look that way. Having kids is expensive. Might as well have immigrants. No one's having kids. You know what? When you put it like that, it's not untrue. Yeah, like, having kids now is not very popular, for sure. And it's because, well, life keeps getting more complicated and more expensive, and responsible people are opting for hopefully delay the deed until their finances get sorted. But at the same time, when it comes to that matter, what if you never make it to be financially stable? You have to deprive yourself of being a parent just because you want to be responsible. I don't think that's, I don't want to say fair. There's a better word than fair. But I shouldn't have to decide that I cannot be a parent because the society that I reside in does not support that, does not make it easy, does not make it possible for me to comfortably be able to be involved in that chapter in my life. It is such an inherent thing to do. You naturally want to pass on your genes. So it seems like they have imposed, they as in our leaders, have imposed a way in which it's difficult for common people to get that accomplished. Although we're still having kids, because I mean, poor people are still having kids, even though they're not prepared, they don't have stable careers or stable marriages. It's still happening. But that's when I listen to people who come up with their little theories of that's the way of the government doing some, what is it, population control. And I'm like, while I can see why you're saying that and what makes you theorize that, did someone really sit down and think this through and say, you know what? I'm just going to crazily inflate prices to make it difficult for the lower class to afford to live so that they are discouraged from having kids because it'll overwhelm them. Mm, I don't know what to think on that one. I want to say, yeah, I'll jump on the theory bandwagon because it makes sense. At the same time, I just don't want to accept that that's the way things are because I don't have a way of confirming that indeed that is what's happening. So, on that one, I'm not going to say I agree or disagree because there is always that, there's always room for doubt. There's terrible people out there, there's evil people out there, there's people with bad intentions out there. So, given everything that has happened throughout human history that's abhorrent, bizarre, terrible, nameless, creepy, senseless, what's to keep this from being true? See what I mean? So, let's see. Cold ad hominem attacks. What makes anyone think that all these immigrants are going to be beneficial to the current citizens or respect the systems we have put in place? And see, another thing that gets me is the fact that somehow we have to be the one country that allows people to not assimilate. I'm thinking if you're going somewhere and you're abandoning your original culture in the pursuit of a better one, why would you not want to assimilate to the society's. Wait, why would you not want to assimilate to the culture that the society that you are introducing yourself to has? Is it really that bad? I'm not saying that you have to completely forget your roots, forget who you are, what you like. No, bring those ideas along. We welcome them. But I think it's crazy that we are supposed to be the ones changing to adapt to you when you are the one who's coming here. Why do we need to change our culture and values and roots to adjust to you if we are already established? We have to give you the invader treatment at that point because that's how wars get started, you know? So, again, that's just my opinion. I'm probably not thinking this right. It's possible. I mean, I'm not an expert on the topic, but when I think about it at my own level of being critical, it seems hypocritical, you know? But, anyways, someone out there will agree, someone out there will disagree. That's how I want to see it, but until someone engages me in it further to where I may need to reevaluate my point of view, then I'm probably not going to change my opinion. Let's see. Basically, I'm just saying that there's room for growth, there's room for change. Like, although I feel like I have defined myself presently, I can still change my mind on a lot of matters. There are some matters that I thought I would never change my opinion on, but I have. So, nothing wrong with that. Poor people having kids tend to vote more for the welfare state. I must be missing something here. Someone who perpetuates art is called artist. Someone who works perfect perfects shooting a pistol is called a shootist, and someone who perfects racing is called a uh a huh someone who perfects racing is called a a racerist. Ha ha ha. Racerist and nothing else. Race, racer, racerist. Am I getting it right? Huh? Hopefully that clarifies it for you. Mike? Mike? Racerist Mike? The average person can be fooled by charisma. Sprinter? Yep. Philip's got it. Philip's thinking near the same page that I am, but it's totally a racerist. Nothing else. Alright, guys, I'm about to hit my 1 hour mark, and to be honest with you, I should be falling asleep soon because I do have to go in to work in the morning, although a little later. It's already past midnight. Thanks so much for tuning in and for hanging out with me and listening to me. Hopefully, I made sense on at least 70% of the stuff I said. When I feel just exhausted and not breathing properly, I'm just lacking self-confidence. But anyways, it'll get better. I'll get back to my senses hopefully soon. I'll never forget what my most influential manager said to me, which was, it'll get worse before it gets better. So I like to think that I'll get back to the way things were, but it is possible that it may not, at least for a long time. But I never lose faith, and I'm still confident in anything I do and say, even if I project myself with doubt. So I'm never going to disappear from this place because I think that I can no longer handle it. I can always handle putting stuff up on the channel. It's just that when it comes to time, sometimes it's not a very wise decision. But tonight, I definitely felt better when it comes to my respiratory system, and I also had the extra time, so I said, why not? Let's see. Eraser is racerist. Take care, Zamri. Peace. Alright, guys. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.